Hi, my name is Thais Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I wanted to ask you if you know the difference between the dismissive avoidant and the fearful avoidant forms of deactivation. Hi, I just wanted to jump in here really quickly and let you know that we are doing one of our most exciting promotions that we do during the entire year. And it is our lifetime promotional sale. So basically, the lifetime membership to the Personal Development School gives you access to all of the 55 plus courses we've ever recorded. And I record a new course and create new content every single month, and it will give you access to all future courses. It also gives you access to all of the daily community events we have, group shares, social events, guided meditations, guided morning and evening routines, communication scripts practice for communicating through challenging situations, and the 4 live webinars that I do with our students every single week. So at any point when you have a question, you're able to jump in there, ask me a question, and we have a history of webinars on a whole bunch of different topics. So it's basically endless content. And the really nice thing about the lifetime promotion is not only do you get to continuously learn for life, so that gives you the safety and comfort of knowing that you can rely on anything that you need in terms of going through a challenging situation, be it a breakup, be it a really rocky time in your romantic relationship with somebody. If you're looking to work on boundaries, some sort of change in the workplace, we've got courses for that as well. So there's all these resources at your fingertips for life, and that promotion is going on right now. You can click the link below for almost 50% off, and I would love to see you on the other side. Come join me in the webinars, come ask me questions. And thank you for watching this. So if you're not already familiar, avoidant attachment styles have this tendency to do something called deactivate. And there's something referred to as deactivating strategies. And essentially what they are is each individual's subconscious strategy to protect themselves in regards to attachment by minimizing their need for the person that they're in a relationship to. And this can happen for a variety of different reasons. But all of those reasons essentially exist because of subconscious programs and adaptations to cope with painful experiences in childhood that have not been resolved. And as a result of them not being resolved, they get brought into our adult romantic relationships. So I'll give you a couple examples here, and then we're going to talk about the difference between the DA version of this and the FA version of this. If a child felt neglected in childhood, okay, and let's say their emotional needs were neglected, and they grew up in a childhood that was not really conducive to talking about feelings, didn't have really healthy modeling for communication, for working through challenges in childhood and different issues, then eventually this child who actually needs these things, who's actually wired to derive these things from their relationships, forms a way of dealing with the trauma of that being lacking. So in other words, rather than keep needing it and longing for it, and it just never being met in any form because it's not how those parents or caregivers operate in their relationship to the child finds a way to cope with that. And for the dismissive avoidant, their way to cope with that is to minimize their need for attachment to their caregivers, is to go, I don't really need anything from them anyways, and to really focus on the relationship to themselves. And to a certain degree, that brings some relief. And this is called an adaptation or a behavioral strategy to deal with these things. Now, because the wounding, the original wounds of that lack of emotional attunement and connection weren't necessarily addressed or resolved, it leaves this child with like this subconscious emotional storage, really what we hear as like a derogatory term of baggage, in that person's subconscious mind, that unless it's actually spent time on reconditioning and reprogramming, is going to pop back up in our future relationships. It's what we've learned about how to attach and how to do relationships with other people. And the fearful avoidant version of this is a little bit different. The fearful avoidant version, and this is not the difference between the two. The difference between the two we'll talk about sort of towards the end. But the fearful avoidant version of this is that the FA, they have a lot of extreme inconsistencies. So maybe, for example, a fearful avoidant had a parent who was an alcoholic. And one day that parent was really loving and warm because they were sober. And another day they were sober, but they were detoxing. And, they were trying to quit drinking alcohol, and they're really irritable and not very nice. And one day they're drinking and they're absolutely chaotic and mean. And another day they're drinking and they're really warm and fuzzy because they've had a few drinks in them. And there's no like consistency there in childhood in any form, but the extremes of inconsistency are very polarized and chaotic and often quite traumatic. So that would be an example. There can be many different versions of this for FAs. But essentially, fearful avoidance, they learn that when their parent is in the not so great side, the chaotic side, by withdrawing themselves in that way and minimizing their need for attachment, that makes them feel relief. And so they learn when somebody's chaotic to strongly deactivate and to push that person away really, really far. And there's often this element of like fear in that. There's often this element of like, I don't know who you're going to be. You scare me right now. You know, your unpredictability is really intense. And it's not just like, oh, you're not meeting my needs, like the DA. It's like the level at which I'm witnessing my relationship to you and all the chaos that's here is scary. I can't trust it. I can't trust you. This feels really bad. It feels really painful. So I need to push you as far away as I can possibly get you. And this same thing will create emotional storage at the subconscious level of mind for the fearful avoidance. So in their adult lives, this is what you'll see when they get triggered, especially around something that's really like important to them. So when we look at the long-term manifestations of these behaviors and what the real differences are, is you'll see they mirror the way that each attachment style adapts to their reality in childhood. So the dismissive avoidant attachment style in their lives, they tend to be more pervasively deactivated. They tend to have like a set point of being slightly deactivated, right? They don't even really open up too much. So they're in this like almost always deactivated state, at least around their emotions and deep emotional connection and relationships. And that's kind of their norm. Fearful avoidance, because they've got that anxious side as well, they can be very activated, very intense, very deep, very connected. But when they deactivate, they go into this like really deep deactivation. They really push people away. And it actually mirrors the way that they've learned to deal with their childhood, which is, this scares me and I'm frightened. And the emotions I'm experiencing in my body are fear, panic, distrust, anger, frustration, betrayal, all these things that they've basically stored up from their experiences in childhood, because the subconscious mind is just this giant warehouse or like storage facility of stuff. And so what's unresolved there will get brought back into future relationships. So you'll see this be here, and you'll see that the FA deactivating strategies mirror that intensity. So they will deactivate less frequently, but much more intensely. And what you need to know is that these things can be reprogrammed. That like restlessness the FA feels from activating to deactivating, that ability to never feel like you can settle in and sit in a relationship and stay there and be yourself and be present and feel like you can trust, all of those things are reprogrammable through literally reconditioning your subconscious mind around these fears, around these wounds. So you're not taking your childhood into every future relationship. And same thing with dismissive avoidance. These things are reprogrammable. The ability to feel safe expressing your emotions, the ability to feel comfortable opening up, connecting with people, to not have to stay in this guarded space your entire life because of what you've been through in the past. All of these things are reconditionable, changeable, so you can actually get your needs met at a much more fulfilling and deeper level in relationships, and move beyond this idea that relationships are some kind of power struggle in life, because they don't have to be that way. So anyways, this is one of the major differences. I hope this makes sense. If you want to go through and check out like how to actually recondition these things in detail, like obviously I can put way more information into a course and in a video. And we have courses for each attachment style you can check out for free using the link below. One for dismissive avoidant attachment, one for fearful avoidant. And it's like how to reprogram your attachment style challenges with all the major themes that you would have adopted from childhood as a result of the conditioning that took place. And it helps you go through and actually like through repetition, emotion, through engaging the subconscious mind in the process of reconditioning, get out of these painful patterns so you can become securely attached. So you can check them out. Those courses are there for free for 7 days. The link below will give you access to our whole personal development school for 7 days. So you can check out all the different courses we have. You can take a look through it. You can join me. I do 4 live webinars every single week with our students. You can ask me questions. And we also have daily events with trained facilitators and coaches that are about proper communication and boundaries and self-love routines and reconditioning routines and morning and evening routines, like all these really cool things that you can do with a community if that's something that really helps you as well. And everybody's obviously really like-minded, is there for personal growth, cares about emotional connection and relationships. So we have really, really amazing people in there as well. So anyways, I hope this all makes sense. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for any questions you have. Please leave them below. And thank you for subscribing. If you have subscribed to this channel, I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video.